Should we just carry on then?
Sure. You've got a train now as well.
Yeah, okay. There's a pour myself under the wine.
Wait for John Trainer.
Like my kids, they need a wine.
Are they French?
I hope not. You know, it's not like stop themselves in the air.
Kentucky Fried Frenchies. That's your dark car.
That'd be the new French website. Friendship.
That's terrible.
It provides French people with friendship and tortilla chips. It's a three-fer.
Nice.
Warning, this podcast may contain segments of other podcasts that you've not heard and that were cut for a reason. And also bad language and content that you may find offensive simply to your ears because, I mean, if we've cut it, then it's not going to be that... I can't say it's not going to be that good. We're literally about to air an episode on it.
You know what? You said that the last short stories episode wasn't that good, and it's one of our most listened to episodes.
Is that? No, it isn't. You will say this about every episode.
I'm not going to put up the stats because that would be unfair to leave you waiting. But I will say that they are not flops. They're some of our better listened episodes.
What, the short stories ones?
Yeah.
There's only two of them.
But still some of our better listened episodes.
Yeah, third time's the charm and all
I
that.
mean, they're no TED Talks, but they're only
I see what he's done there.
They're only like the best ones we've got.
He's fucking gone in two-footed with the fact that he's fucking done those TED Talks himself.
I'm not going to say they aren't at the top of the charts because they totally are.
Would you say that the TED Talks were fantastic?
I would actually. Right. Would you not?
I think you did a good job considering the time you had.
Wow. That's scathing.
Welcome to Seesaw Podcast
with T, Cleaves, and Selina.
Each week, offering up a blurry perspective on life. Welcome to another short stories episode, bringing you that hotness, which was too hot for TV.
Actually, one thing, right, just going back to the intro. The reason I spoke to you, or you referenced TED Talks, and then I wanted to speak to you about TED Talks and about how TED was fantastic according to all of your various TED Talks.
Go on.
You've had a little time to adjust now. You've had a little time to work with him. The instructions have gone.
Yeah.
Would you say that TED is fantastic?
I would say they did.
Or, instead of fantastic, would you use the word substandard?
I would say they did what they could with the tools provided.
Wow.
He's got potential.
For what?
Well, as a doorstop.
Is it up to you to bring out his potential?
I have no...
You've got to nurture his talent?
I have no qualms that he will be a respectable guide dog at one point. But I think the thing that I realised with having him for a while now is he's no Wes. And I busted Wes's balls so much about him being bad. But compared to Ted, he's fucking incredible.
Would you say he's a motherfucking musical genius?
Yes, I entirely would say that Wes is a motherfucking musical genius. Whereas Ted is just mastering the spoons at this point. I think he'll get better with time, but it's tricky. I think it's unfair to Ted sometimes because we are talking about a dog who worked 10 years and like nailed down so many things. I think give it 4 years or something like that, he'll probably be really good. But at the moment, he's planted me on the curb a few times.
A few?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. There's been a couple of incidents. I find the issue is when he's around people, he gets distracted.
Don't we all?
Yeah, looking at the ass.
Wow. T does not condone perverting on other people.
Hey, this is dog perverting on people.
Right. So it's okay.
He can do that. It's bestiality.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, okay,
on that side of things, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, dogs is fine.
Yeah. So, short stories, Cleaves.
Short stories with T and Cleaves and Selina. We're really milking this now. We're on episode 3 of Short Stories with T and Cleaves and Selina. Short stories with T, Cleaves and Selina. Warning, episode may not be short.
I think we are going to talk about guide dogs in the second part.
Yeah. It's
That's not what we're going to talk about first.
No.
Why will we cue it up so beautifully like this?
No, it would have made so much sense. Unless I do queue up now. No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Let's pull the rug. What are we talking about first?
Food, baby!
Woo!
There's so much shit that we cut in terms of just me and T often go out on food tangents, and this is one of them.
And what we've cut with Selina as well. So you'll probably enjoy this because it's not just us fucks chatting shit. Although we are chatting shit.
Bacon and bagels with T. Cleaves and Selina, talking package and food, and even a little braille. Food stories with T. Cleaves and Selina. Food stories with T. Cleaves and Selina. Warning, stories may not be a recipe for success.
What about my cranberries?
Oh, just on a side note, I've been watching this show called Baking Impossible.
Right.
And I appreciate it's not cranberry, but today they did like a fashion show thing. One person made the costume and it was a giant raspberry. All made out of like, edible items. Moving on.
All I thought there when you said like the fashion show, like, and here comes the blueberry wearing a fantastic summer chemise.
It's kind of what it was a little bit, yeah. Apart from it was a person wearing a raspberry chemise.
So it was the other way around.
Yeah, it was like a full-on raspberry. It looked pretty sick, to be honest.
I'd watch it if it was the other way around.
You want the fruit to be wearing the garments.
Mm-hmm.
How are these? No,
Tiny garments.
Okay, I'm
On
not.
conveyor belts.
Right.
Style it out, baby.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
When you're talking like other sort of thing, let's say, for example, putting Braille on all food packaging, realistically, that takes a lot of investment from companies to do. Is there ever going to be a circumstance where we would get everything that we wanted with enough pressure? I don't know if you'd be beating your head against the wall in some instances.
I don't know, but you're saying Braille on packaging, for example, it's going to be expensive. But if everybody was doing it and it was a mass market thing, it'd be a lot cheaper, wouldn't it? Because there's the demand for it. The reason why, I was like on your previous episode, the reason why products for disabled are so expensive is because the audience is so small. But
True.
if the audience was bigger, they'd be cheaper.
The thing is with Braille on packaging, a government law can pass that legislation to make it a legal requirement, in which case all companies have to do it. And then it's not an issue because all companies will have to suffer that same cost. Whereas articles specifically for disabled people only have that niche. So they can charge people that money because it's such a small marketplace. But governments can't turn around and go, oh yeah, if it's this piece of technology, then you can only charge X amount for it.
What about free canes from your local authority?
But yeah, it's a standardized thing, isn't it? That if it's a cane or a guide dog or something universal, shall we say,
Okay.
or a wheelchair, for example, and they had a standardized wheelchair or cane or whatever, and they said they were free. Well, they are free from your local authority.
Not very good ones from what I heard when it comes to wheelchairs, like the NHS ones. I don't hear good things.
But yeah, if the government put that in place as a standardized system, then it works. All I mean is just when like private companies get involved and then start making niche products for niche markets, then the costs are going to be high. I think the point we were trying to make on the last episode a little bit was that they don't necessarily need to be that high. They're essentially just cashing in on that marketplace.
Yeah, I begrudgingly have to agree. I think especially
Begrudgingly.
because it's coming from you, and I don't like to agree with you because you get a smug look on your face.
Yeah, I got it right now.
Yeah. But I think the example from the last episode with the phone and the software where there was just a needless markup, which there was no justification to the cost, and it just didn't make sense. Like the software was already very expensive, and that fair enough for it being niche, but then the pricing just did not add up individually when you bought it outside of that one package. It was just the package cost more for no discernible reason other than the fact it just was a package, basically.
Hear me out, right? What if you grouped disability-based tech and products into certain, should we say, categories? And in order to put them into these categories, they will say a number-based system
You get a lot of mileage
based
out of
on
this
how
joke.
severe the disability was. And then you could say you could put they will have to cost between this amount and this amount, and then the next one's going to be this amount and this amount. And if your government regulated it, then okay, yeah, everyone's going to go for the top bracket of that. It's essentially energy bills, but at least there will be some sort of cap on it.
Are you happy about using this joke again? I said he was in a weird mood. I mean, you're not a man who eats bagels, so.
I am. I had Holy Bagel not too long ago.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's a shop called Holy Bagel, and they deliver bagels in Nottingham and the surrounding area.
All bagels have holes, so it's a redundant name.
Well, this is Holy Bagel.
Right. Have they got some sort of religious connotation?
No, but you're like, holy shit, that's good.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good bagel shop. The last time I went, though, Actually, the last time I went wasn't actually that good compared to my previous bagels. Last time, don't get this. If you go to Holy Bagel, just go for one of their regular bagels. They're sick. But don't get the bagel toasty. It's like two upside down halves of a bagel with like cheese in the middle. But you know what? The cheese wasn't that good. Actually, the bagel was pretty good. It was the cheese. Anyway, Holy Bagel, generally pretty good.
We are not sponsored by Holy Bagel.
But I can say Holy Bagel a few more times if it helps out. Oh my God, do you think we should ask Holy Bagel to get some free bagels for the show?
I mean, they can do. It's a very...
They need to update
around here
cheese,
sort of place.
Though. They can branch out.
Maybe this is the push they need.
They can take over other bagel franchises.
Like Bagel, Bagel, Bagel.
An iBagel.
I've got nothing.
Bag Watch. Featuring Dave Bagel Hoff.
Now you're just giving them free ideas. Now, if they named a bagel after us, then they'd get a free shout out.
What would you put on a bagel named after the podcast?
Well, firstly, you'd need to have it a bit offset into it because like, it's the seesaw. So you'd have to do it like a seesaw.
Oh, right. So like the top half is a little bit on a wonk, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
So it's like leaning over.
Kind of implies that we're one-sided.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but what's your filling?
So...
I mean, usually your filling is cum.
You can't put cum on there, but we can put mayonnaise.
Okay.
That's a good start. We can be a little bit bitter about topics, so, I don't know, some watercress.
Watercress?
Pretty bitter.
I don't think that existed since the early 90s.
Ask my wife about that.
Fucking hell. Water. I would not have expected you to say watercress. Okay, go on.
Okay.
So far, you've got mayonnaise and watercress. This sounds horrendous.
These are just like the...
And it's on a lopsided bagel. Keep going. There's got to be something good in here, surely.
Okay, then I would have some form of cheese.
Some form of cheese. Nail it down.
Red Leicester.
Parmesan.
No,
Red Leicester. Right, the blandest of cheeses. Carry on.
No, it's all right. It's better than...
It's mild cheddar at best. Go on.
Okay.
Are you grating that in, or are you slicing it in?
Oh, that'd be a thin slice.
Oh, is it? So you're not melting it on or anything?
Maybe. I mean, that comes down to dealer's choice, doesn't it? If you want it like to be in the toaster.
Right, okay.
Or not. Yeah, they have one of those Subway toaster ovens. Then probably something underrated but delicious on top. So
for the Cleaves part.
I'll say venison sausage.
Okay.
Rich, exotic, underrated.
I'm not the first two.
And then I would top it all with a little bit of mustard and a little bit of ketchup.
Right. See, I'm going to see that bagel on the menu and think, oh, the venison part sounds nice. Shame about everything else. And what the fuck is watercress?
Okay, Mr. Fuckface, what is your bagel?
Well, if we're the Seesaw podcast, I like to think we're a little bit spicy. So there's jalapenos on there, definitely.
I did guess.
Yeah, boy. And they're going to be mixed in with some cheese, because we're pretty cheesy at points.
Yeah, well, what sort of cheese?
It's going to be probably mature melted cheddar. So I've got a sort of jalapeno cheesy mix going on so far. Okay. I feel like I'm going to need some meat on there, because it's a pretty pale and male show, isn't it, this? Unless we've got Selina on. So there's got to be probably some white meat, arguably. But that's also the most boring. So I'm going to say the least boring of the white meats is probably pork. It's also the funniest.
It's also classed as a red meat, but carry on.
White meat, pork. So I'm going to have... do I go pulled pork? Okay, I'm going to go pulled pork. And then just for additional pork-based products, I'm going to say bacon,
Oh, you're one of those, are you? Not everything needs bacon, fuck's sake.
Yours had sausage. Admittedly, it was venison, but most of the time that's pork.
Yeah, but it's more different than bacon. You know, I don't put bacon on mine because everything is fucking bacon.
I've got bacon, pulled pork, cheesy jalapenos, and I feel like there's going to be something else just to top it off with a little bit of a pizzazz.
Watercress.
And a sprinkling of watercress. I can't have watercress on it. It's garbage. No, I need needs a little bit of sauce on there or something. Oh, maybe like some for the additional hotness, like some Ancona, just a little bit of the Ancona West Indian sauce. I think it's called West Indian.
What about sriracha mayo?
Nah, too light. This one has to be hot.
Okay. So hot mayo.
No, why is it with mayonnaise with you?
Because we're very creamy.
No. This particular one is hot cheese.
Okay.
That's what I like to describe Caesar as. Hot cheese.
Okay, I'm going to put a Twitter poll out. So go on to Twitter, to Seesaw Pod, and you can vote for the T or the Cleaves or the other, in which case you need to comment and just put your suggestion for the Seesaw Bagel.
Okay, nice.
The winner will get us we'll put something on the Instagram of us eating the bagels and stuff like that. We'll make them.
We'll send you a bagel from your local bagel hut.
Okay, that's fair.
Pretty good.
I was just going to send them one in a fucking, like one of those package things, envelopes with like the packing peanuts in, just a fucking bagel.
Oh, I'd be rancid.
No toppings, just the bagel.
What?
There you go, here's a bagel. So, shall we start the episode? And we're back. Now, if you would like to try one of these bagels, please do and let us know. We might even try them ourselves.
We should do that for the next short stories. Just have a re-go of all these stupid things.
Okay, so we should have done this as the first set of stories, but this time around we're going to be talking guide dogs. Cue the stack.
Again, this is not stacked because I'm just going to put the fucking theme tune in here.
Then cut that bit.
I'm not going to cut it either.
Guide dog stories with Cleaves, but mainly T and Selina. Even though a cane is clearly superior. Dog stories with Cleaves, but mainly T and Selina. Dog stories with T, Cleaves and Selina. Warning, not all mobility aids are created equally. In fact, some are more equal than others.
If we're talking about like this side of things, mobility aids and all of that, I feel a lot more comfortable with a guide dog and less self-conscious than I do with a cane. If I was walking through the city centre with a cane, I feel a lot more self-conscious than I would do if
Yeah, because you're constantly looking about where you need to go because you're not fucking using your cane.
I use it sometimes.
Do you?
Also, why are you more conscious using a cane when more people are looking at you because you've got a dog? Dog attracts attention.
Do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think dog attracts attention in a positive way. Whereas I think cane attracts attention in a negative way.
But what person do you know? This is just our perceptions. Who really looks at a cane and thinks, "Oh my god, what an awful stick that they're swaying."
No, not so much that. Like they look at you and think, "Oh my god, it's blind." Whereas people look at a dog and go, "Oh my god, what a lovely fucking dog! Let me pet my dog. Let me pet the dog. Can I pet the dog?"
Yeah,
they're more like super focused on the dog. Like, "Oh my god, is he trained? How much does he know? Will he do backflips for fun?"
I think you've got a point there where I think cane shows disability where I think that the dog shows independence. I don't know if I'm wrong there, but with a guide dog, it shows an empowered person walking along, and a cane, because sometimes you're a bit slower with it and you have to feel things out a little bit more, it shows a bit more disability.
Whereas I would argue, in actual fact, probably the opposite.
No, I've seen a lot of these like custom canes out there as well, and I know some guide dog owners who will put their dogs in sort of like, I don't know if you do this, Selina, but like they'll put jackets on their dogs before the harness, and it'll be
but you're not really allowed to do that.
No, I did ask the other day, and it's like even a raincoat, because it was absolutely hammering it down. I was like, I just asked like, what would be like the thoughts on if I just got like a little rain slick to put over, like just so I could put the harness on so Ted isn't sopping wet at the office. And I was just curious because it's been 10 years since I qualified with Wes, and it's like they said absolutely not. Like, we don't want anything else on the dog. Like, you deal with it, take a towel. But then I do see on Twitter, like, I see like a guide dog in a bright pink coat and then a harness over the top.
They say when you're working your dog, you should only be using guide dog equipment. But my partner works in football, and he recently, I think it's this thing when he goes to matches, spot the guide dogs or spot blind people.
Nice.
He saw a guide dog that had the team's T-shirt over the harness. So he was kind of wearing it.
I like that. See, I find that fun.
It's fun, but it's not loud.
Yeah.
I suppose when you think about how much money and how much training and effort goes into it, like, guide dogs are also an advertising. They're an advertising board as well as a mobility aid, because people see them out and about, and it's one of these tangible. People give money and they see the result. It's not like some other charities out there where they seem like they don't do much. I know that's harsh, and we've done a charity episode in the past where we've touched on the whole, like, where does the money go sometimes? At least with guide dogs, you see them out there. And then if you think about how much a guide dog costs, when guide dogs say, oh, it costs around £50,000 or whatever it is, when you break it down, you think, oh, okay, if we're talking about staff cost and this, that, and the other, that does make sense. So I suppose it's advertising, and guide dogs want you to see the harness, like that very distinct harness, the dog, like, very presentable as well. And it's more of an advert for them as well.
Yeah, I suppose it's supposed to, it's a uniform they kind of wear, don't they? It's a standard approach. I did have one incident when I was free running both my boys, and my partner had gone to pick up one dog poo, and then someone came up to me and was like, oh, is that your black Labrador? I was like, yeah, thinking they're going to say something nice. It's like, he's just in a poo. I was like, oh, he's a guide dog, and I'll get my partner to try and find it when he comes back. But then they felt really awkward when they realised I wasn't just ignoring it and letting my dog go as and when he pleased.
To be fair, I have had someone comment when I've been working a dog in harness. I was actually going for a job interview. I was like, I can't shut up with a bag of poo, and it was in a place I'd never been. So it's like, I'm not even going to bother with this. And it was kind of on the grass, but he'd also done a little bit on the pavement. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not dealing with this. And I start to walk away, and then some old woman went, are you going to pick that up? And I go, pick what up? And I just walk away. It's like,
it
come
has
on.
to be done sometimes, see?
Yeah. So I thought he was smelling the flowers. That's what he was doing. Yeah. Anything else you want to course out on, Selina? Because I think that's fair. I accept that not everyone can pick it up. It was more for the excuse to just mention poo in an episode and be juvenile, to be fair.
I need a quick toilet break. 2 minutes.
Yeah, of course. You all right?
No, I'm going to do the same.
Toilet break. Apart from tea. Sitting here in the studio.
Okay, back.
Yeah, nailed it.
Hello, you're both back at the same time. Cleaves just ducked out to the Easterloo as well. I think it would have been weird if I'd also left.
You got 2 flights to go down if you want to go.
Yeah, I know. No, stuff that.
You don't share a toilet?
No, not at the same time, weirdly.
The communal trough.
Yeah.
You've got your exclusive toilets in the house.
Oh, God, I wish.
My bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have one. It's called Cleaves' Pillow.
Oh, come on.
He hasn't noticed. That's foul. I do apologise. That's foul. I mean, I feel we've all experienced things in life where you never feel more disabled in certain instances. Going for a job interview, and instead of following the person to the office, your guide dog takes you the opposite direction because the kitchen's there, and you feel like a huge idiot. And it was because your dog wanted sausages.
Well, they stick the head in the bin on the way.
Yep. I've had that.
Yeah.
And then your credibility is gone. And at that point, I was like, I'm not getting this job. Like, I've just spent the last 20 minutes trying to convince you how non-disabled I am. And then this stupid dog decides to do that. It's like, come on. That's stuff that I can't get around. Like, it's just something that is always going to remind me.
Yeah, but in this perfect world, this dog's not going to do that. You're going to have some sort of robot dog.
Didn't they have robot dogs in the 90s? Those little weird things with them.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking like Yippee the backflipping dog. I'm talking like actual guide dogs.
I think they're in the making.
Are they? Oh, that'd
I
be cool.
think so. Imagine if it ran out of batteries though when you're out.
No, it's a perfect world. So there's charging points all everywhere.
I'm just wondering where you put the plug.
The plan for Calvin when he retired, he was always going to go to my parents. That was the plan. And then my partner moved in probably 6 months before Calvin retired. And then I kind of said to him, oh, can we keep Calvin now since you're going to be here and you'll be able to help me walk him and things like that. So, but I think I probably would have said to guide dogs, if I knew that if he went to a family member, they would have had to pay for Calvin fully and I wouldn't have to pay for everything, that I would have just said he was going to stay with me.
See, there's that lie aspect.
Yeah,
Told you, man.
stretching the truth. Yeah, but I mean, as it happened, I said I kept him anyway and paid a small monthly fee for them to still cover his vets and food and everything else.
I think that's what happened with me. Very similar. Like, Wes was supposed to go to my parents, and then guide dogs were like, well, they had to pay for everything. And then my parents were like, we're out. We can't afford it. Like, we're just not doing it. And then I said to guide dogs, like, I'll pay for some of it if he stays with me. And they're like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Like, providing you're going to pick up some of the costs, fine. And so he stayed here.
Yeah, I think I had a conversation with the manager about how much I could contribute. And I paid £25 a month in the end, direct debit as my contribution, rather than specifically just paying for the food or anything, which was a good deal.
It was a very good deal.
Very good deal. Very good deal. I said I'll pay for food. And okay, we're backtracking on last week. I said food, not vets, because no insurer would touch him.
Yeah. But are you going to pay for anything for Ted? Because they asked me that, but then I didn't have a break between dogs. Calvin worked just shy of his 12th birthday, which I was really lucky. So I went from one dog to another. But then I'd agreed this £25 for Calvin, and they were like, so can you pay for Riley's food? I was like, I can't really afford that on top of, paying for one dog. So I'm not actually contributing for Riley, but I know they do ask now if you can.
Yeah, I probably won't be contributing just because Wes's food is so expensive. Like, it's specialist food. So chances are I won't be contributing just because even Ted is on special food. Like, he's on a different style of special food. They didn't even sync up. It's like, I can't afford that. I can't afford both of you.
You won't have to afford both of them.
You're just queuing up a gunshot, aren't you?
No. All I'm saying is, not to be that guy, but I imagine by the time Ted retires, Wes ain't going to be around. Unless he's some sort of inhuman super dog.
Or retires really early.
Good point. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
That's it.
Touché.
There you go. Cut the wind out of your sails, didn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Okay.
From what I hear, Ted is amazing and he won't be retiring early.
Oh, mate, are you aware of how many times T you used the words Ted was fantastic?
Yeah.
I know, but if I cut all of that out, the podcast would be 1 minute long.
Touché.
No, he's really good.
Fantastic.
Really
For now, you wait.
Yeah,
They're all
I know.
really good with the trainer. First year's the hardest. Honestly, it really is. You'll find out his little quirks, and then when the trainer's not there to put him in line, and he'll find your soft spots, and he'll wrap you around his little paw. Don't you worry.
That's it. Yeah. Spare the rod, spoil the dog.
It'll happen. And we're back. And I know normally you would get 3 sets of stories, but hopefully you've enjoyed these bumper stories.
Ooh.
And much contrary to what Cleaves said at the beginning of the episode.
You couldn't get the word beginning out then, could
No,
you?
I couldn't.
I thought you were going to say bodega for some reason.
I nearly struggled with it again. At the beginning of the episode, Cleaves said this was all the shit that you wouldn't want to hear, but I think these were really good stories.
He says, having not listened to them.
They just didn't fit in the episodes that we had. Cleaves has a very concise timeline. If it goes over a certain amount of time, he cuts massive chunks. There's a reason they call him Cleaves.
They cleave shit out of the edit?
Yep.
Look, I'm a man of consistency. You don't want your shit to be this different amounts of times every week. Just keep it down to like 30, 35 minutes. Do you have anything that you would like to finish this episode on? Short stories 3. Thought stories featuring T. Cleaves and Selina.
That's all I have to say.
And that's it for this week. So we will catch you next time. Hope you enjoyed short stories, and we'll see you then.
The short stories were here. They weren't queer, apart from the times they were. And you don't need to get used to it. You can listen again. Go on. Be naughty. Behave, baby. Da 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 da. Ba do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. It's a really quick chat.
Jesus God. Thanks for listening to the Seesaw Podcast.
You can find us on Twitter at Seesaw Pod, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram and YouTube at Seesaw Podcast. You can also email us at seesawpodcast@gmail.com. Like, rate, review, subscribe, and then you can also find us on TikTok, but get us on all the other places. This podcast was recorded in front of a blind audience.
That was a short stories episode with T. Cleaves and Selina. Haven't done one in a while, so we thought we'd churn one out. Short stories with T. Cleaves and Selina. The episode clocked in at 31 minutes, 34 seconds.